Okay, going live at almost 10 for a change. Didn't think that I was going to be able to make this video, but here we are doing it now, and hopefully people will see it soon, even though you're all in bed already. If you're one of my 2 regular viewers, I don't know. Okay, so I did recently a whole bunch of hat videos, and so obviously not all of them have been seen all that much. But the Stetson video I did 3 days ago, of course, a totally different style of hat, episode 319. More similar to this would be episode 318, the Resistol versus the Saratelli. And then this hat is literally replacing episode 316, the driftwood color in the acoustic style, which I'm going to do kind of a, I already mailed it back, but I'm going to do a head-to-head of that one with this one kind of anyway. And then previously I had done a hat kind of rundown. I did an old one a long time ago. I don't remember what number that is, but then more recently I did 293, and I'm going to do a similar video to 293 coming up soon. But not necessarily with as many expensive hats. We'll see how it goes. I don't want it to be endless, but I want it to be kind of comprehensive. And then more recently, I did the Cody James versus the Justin, episode 294, and then Cody James 5X 296. Now, I did not bring in the 5X for this video. I brought in the 3X from the other video. If it's a little better, and I'm not positive which one is more comparable to the Stetson. So I'm not going to do a total head-to-head with that, but it is a thing to mention. So really, when I was looking at the acoustic one, which is more similar pinch front to this, I kind of wanted something similar to this color, but an upgrade, because this is just a cheap, well, this is a Bailey light felt that I've had for several years, and it gets neglected because usually by the time I get around to wanting to wear this color, the weather's already too warm. Sorry, I blurred out the whole thing, blew it out by putting the hat too close to the screen. Okay, hopefully that works. So yeah, this is, very similar to a lot of the other kind of imitation indies that you see with the crushable brims, except for that it has the wire in the brim more that kind of, you can't really adjust the brims as much as you would like. They kind of just go back to factory default, and so you can't really reshape it, although it covers the ears okay, and it looks cowboy, enough, even though, again, the pinch front kind of out of vogue. More people prefer the cattleman crease or the brick and those kind of shapes now. So when I ordered the driftwood, it was literally because I was trying to get this lighter color driftwood, sorry, the acoustic hat. And I thought the driftwood was going to be a little closer to this color, and it turned out to be more closer to this color, but darker than this, actually. We'll get there, hang on. This color, yeah, the Cody, this is the Cody James in like a 1X, I think. I don't even think they put X's in this one. It's a 1 or a 2, and it's a discontinued model, but they have a similar one that's available that's a 1 or a 2. Anyway, so, and I know the lighting in here is terrible, so it doesn't look right on the camera. I need to get more white lights than the yellowy ones. But anyway, I did a video about trying to bash this crown and some photos and whatnot. But this felt being a very heavy duty, but it was a decent hat when I bought it. It was on sale for like $40 or whatever, and I just didn't even wear it for well over a decade or something. It's just been totally neglected because it was literally always a size too small. And meantime, before that one, prior to that one, I had already bought this one. Now this is almost the exact same shape as the acoustic, because I showed it in that video too. And but the brim is just a bit smaller, and I've tried to flatten it out since then. And again, The felt has really softened up a lot since I steamed the crap out of it last month because it used to be a lot more stiff than this. But this hat is not one that's been as neglected. I've worn it. But so when I got that one, I felt like it was kind of buying the same hat twice. And insult to injury, the Stetsons also ran small, and I could not barely wear that one. This one is a 7 1/8, which is my correct size. So that one I bought in a 7 1/8, and it was a no-go. Like, it was just very uncomfortable. Same as, or worse actually, than this one that I put back in the box, the Pueblo. That do I need to try this one on so you can all see? So again, this one's a little tight even on me. Excuse me, my voice. This one a little tight on me even, but I had Bewt Barn try to stretch it a little bit, and I can try and wear it in autumn again. As you know, these other ones are borderline costumey, but they do the job if you just need a hat, right? And they were inexpensive at the time. But when I'm wearing a nicer, this shirt was just on the top of the pile. I just grabbed it. But when I'm wearing a nicer getup, I typically want a nicer hat than something like this that I might, you know, take hiking or whatever if the weather's cooler. And so finally I got this Cody James, which is a 3X now. We'll blend whatever it's blended with, I don't know. But more in the cattleman crease, which again is more of the popular style, and a somewhat better fit. Although I guess I worry a bit like that when it's not as snug. Now I get a little more, you know, is it gonna fly off? But this is a size 7. So again, a hat that runs big, because here we're in a size 7 and it's almost big on me. Whereas this one, again, a 7 1/8, and it's tight on me, but at least where I'm not worried about it coming off. So yeah, 6 on one and half on the other, right, as they say. But again, a cattleman crease that I'm not going to wear out and about doing, you know, chores or whatever. I could dress this one up a bit more, even though it's not an expensive hat. It costs, in today dollars, it probably cost less than this one. Yada, yada, yada. But a darker brown still, again, if you can kind of tell, it's really hard with this lighting. I know, I apologize. And I tried to show this before. And then the 5X that I got is even darker than this one, more of a true chocolate. Whereas this is not quite mocha. This is closer to mocha. And so driftwood was, again, darker than I expected, though. Okay, so I know there's a lot of talk for not the hat that we're here to see. Get used to it. That's the way we run things around here. But so literally I had to send the acoustic back before the sizing issue. So while I was doing that, I decided that maybe, you know, I didn't need to spend that much money on a 6X felt right now. Kind of a lot of money because I just shelled out for the Rakubra, and I just shelled out for the 2 Cody James, which again, I'm pretty happy with this one for $100. And then the other one, I don't like it as much. Doesn't fit quite as nice. It's a little tighter. It's a little heavier. Yeah, but it was $25 more than this one, so it was kind of stupid to pass it up. And I ordered some other kind of summary things and blah, blah, blah. And again, I'm going to get into all of that in the upcoming video. I'm not going to go into all of it here now. So for those of you who like scrolling ahead to where the box is, I didn't warn you earlier to scroll ahead to the box. This time the box is slightly different than that other box because it has the Stetson seal on the top there. I took a decent photo and then I tried to tweak it, and my computer program is just bad now. I don't know, it's doing bad things. It tweaks everything way more than I'm trying to tweak it, and it doesn't show me the results until after instead of during now for some reason. So it's really annoying. But this color, they call it MINK. Now again, like the other one, I'm expecting a little darker shade of this, but not quite as dark as either of these two. And the one I'm wearing obviously being, again, closer to the chocolate, but not quite as dark as the other Cody James. And so behold my surprise. Now there's a lighter one that looks more cream. I was reluctant to order that one because I figured it'd be too light. You know, spoiler alert, right? And size spoiler, right? So what's in said box? Yawn bunny box. There's some cardboard. It's nothing, no real trade secrets or anything. So let me read this. 4X 23 is the color mink, brim 4-inch, size 7 1/4. I went up just by default. And Bewt Barn was charging $10 extra for some reason, so I should have ordered from Stetson. I'm going to call and see if they'll do a price match, but I don't think $10 is the end of the world at this point. But I am annoyed that I didn't notice that. But of course, with Bewt Barn, you get the points, and I end up with a free shirt somewhere along the line. So we'll see. Let me go to the website real quick. I went to the Bewt Barn website last time instead of the Stetson website. So Stetson might have some different words. And that's life. Let's see what we have here. If I can find this in a hurry. Hats, men's wool hats, men's felt hats. Okay, we're in felt hats. There's the Saratelli. There's the Cody James. Cody James 5X 125. Still there. Don't know what sizes are still available though, but definitely a good bargain, I think, if you don't mind a heavy, stiff hat. If you going to try and break it in. The Justin, yeah, that was the one I returned. Here we go. Seminole 4X buffalo fur hat. Now, the color, again, doesn't look, it looks kind of similar to this. It does not look as dark as this. It looks maybe a little lighter than this in their photo. Again, this lighting stinks. It's not representing as accurately as I would like. It definitely does not look as light as this. This is representing pretty accurately. This is kind of reddish brown, as I've mentioned in the previous video, whereas this is a little less reddish. The shadow is pretty accurate. It's a little darker than with the glare. The hat band is a little less yellow than this. That's the light reflecting a smidge. So yeah, you get it cheaper if you order it direct. Let's see. Capture the rugged essence of the American West with the Stetson Men's Seminole 4X felt cowboy hat, crafted to embody the spirit of frontier life, in which it does have that kind of old-fashioned crown, which I'll show you in a minute. This hat is both functional and stylish, making it a perfect fit for cattle drivers, rodeos, or a night out. Product features: 4X quality, made from high-quality felt. This hat is built to withstand the rigors of the West. The 4X rating, why it's named after a Florida tribe, I don't know, but okay. The 4X rating ensures long-lasting durability and shape retention even after hours under the sun or in the saddle. Well, I guess if you're in the saddle, you're not in the sun for something, I don't know. Grow grain hat band. Okay, it does not have a grow grain hat band as a leather hat band, so somebody done cut and pasty something wrong. Because grow grain hat band would be more like this ribbon, or like the Indiana Jones band that's on the other hat that's in the box that I'm not showing. Adorned with a Stetson hat pin adds a touch of sophistication and authenticity. Yeah, that's not this, I think. Oops. Somebody done messed up when they cut and pasty. Well, there is a Stetson pin on the, but there's no buckle. It's just sort of attached. Timeless detail. It serves both decorative and functional purposes, keeping the felt in place and providing a touch of class. Brim and crown design. Designed with a 4-inch brim and a 4 5/8-inch crown. That might be the back of the crown. It does taper. This hat offers ample shade and classic Western profile. The traditional cattleman crease, which this does not have. This is more of a pinch front, kind of ish, hybrid, whatever. Not only looks great, but also channels the heritage of the American cowboy. Well, this is an old movie look, or maybe some photos or whatever. I didn't do all the research because I just thought it looked different enough. Then again, not buying the exact same looking hat, although this is kind of my typical more style. So whatever. I'm not trying to change my style that much, but I do like to fill in gaps and get something that I don't feel like I already have, which again, I was trying to get kind of close to this color in a nicer hat. Comfort fit sweatband. Okay, it should not have that. It should have leather. So that's an error. Yeah, that seems to be leather. Can we see this? Is that showing it? Take a look at that. Leather. It says Stetson. Shows a little buffalo. Has the little bow, which hopefully doesn't have as much of a knot in the back of it like that green one from yesterday's video. It does say 4X's. Does have a lining. So Bewt Barn is clearly wrong here on a lot of this stuff. And their price is higher. So, okay. Keep moisture at bay, ensuring you stay cool and dry during hours of wear. I don't know. Maybe the leather does that. I don't know. The fit is snug yet breathable. Perfect for active use. Water resistant. Built to resist light rain and weather. This hat maintains its integrity and appearance even when the skies turn gray. Ideal for those who take their Western lifestyle seriously, regardless of the weather. Well, I live in mostly dry climate and can just wear a different hat most of the time if I know it will rain. Versatile style. Suitable for both working the ranch and heading out on the town, this versatile hat complements a range of Western attire. With its timeless aesthetic, it's a staple piece in any cowboy's wardrobe. Sure. Blend tradition with practicality in the Stetson Men's Seminole 4X felt cowboy hat, a cornerstone of Western wear that stands the test of time. Buffalo felt construction, leather sweatband, bronze studded 5/8 brown leather band with Stetson hat tack. So now we're getting into the actual accurate stuff that the other above stuff. Oops. Slope front crease, 4-inch brim, crown height and brim width may vary slightly, you know, as expected. Satin crown lining. Yes, we just saw that. Handcrafted, made in the USA with globally sourced materials. Yada, yada, yada. Okay. So if we want to go to the Stetson site and see if it says different stuff, I don't know. Stetson hits. If I can find it quickly. For some reason, I have to scroll 5 hours to get to Stetson instead of just getting what I want. Okay. Classics, felt. I assume this is in felt. The one I passed on, the one I returned. There you go. That's always great. Let's go with price sort low to high. And that'll save us a little bit of time. And Broken Bow, that's the other one. That is more of a tan color. Also available in black. So maybe that's the one I should have ordered. But I didn't. So if you're interested in the more tan one, get that one. I've already played enough hat return nonsense and stuff. I'm going to see how this one works out, I think. Okay, Seminole 4X. Yes. Handmade in USA from our proprietary 4X quality 100% wool felt. Wool felt instead of bison for some reason. Okay. The Seminole combines legendary Stetson craftsmanship and classic Western style in one timeless package. Its archival silhouette features a statement-making 4 times 5-inch gust slope pinch front crown, which I'll show in a minute, and a 4-inch brim, which I'll show in a minute. And it's finished with a rugged studded leather hat band. That's the studded leather hat band, if the felt thing will let go of my fingers. I can't see the hat on the screen because I'm reading. Does it look in focus, in frame? There's your, and as you can see, might as well, spoiler alert, it's like the same exact color as almost pretty much the one I already have. So once again, so MINK And driftwood and whatever this is like me just getting the same color over and over and over, no matter what I think I'm getting. Okay. And then, of course, like I said, not the same crown shape exactly, though. So different enough-ish, I guess, but is flattering to my face. I don't know. Probably not. A handsome, genuine leather sweatband and full satin liner provide a time-tested fit and premium comfort. Again, the sizing, I had to guess that I went up to 7 1/4 because I guessed based on the last one that there's no way the right size fits. Original Stetson hat box, 4X quality fur felt, handmade in the USA. It doesn't say anything about sourced materials this time. So yeah, that's that in a nutshell. If I can close out of some of these windows. So big, what does this say? Durable and water resistant buffalo collection. Again, it's bison, not buffalo, but whatever. And it's lined, and it's $10 extra. And let me mop my brow briefly before I put this on. It didn't get too sweaty with the last hat, but enough. All right. So it's decent fit. It's way wider on the sides than I would like, again, without being quite a long oval or whatever crown. So it's still a little bit more round crown. Pinches in the front. Okay. The camera is backwards. I have to use the mirror. But I can barely get there. Should I take that out entirely? I don't know. So yeah, I went up a 1/4, and it seems to be fine. It seems like it'll be a pretty good autumn hat, since it's, again, the wrong color for me to wear it with a bunch of the summer stuff. But it's not quite, dark chocolate again like that. And again, it's not the same crown shape that traditionally I prefer. And it's not as taco as the last one was, so I don't really feel the urge to flatten the brim out completely, even though, again, typically I want more ear coverage if I'm doing outdoorsy stuff. Let me turn more true side, even though it's hard for me to not be looking at the camera and not being able to tell if I'm in focus. I'll assume I'm in focus. Does it look good? Does it seem focused? Show you the back for what it's worth. Again. So yeah, I'm not like, totally like unhappy with it, and I'm just annoyed that, again, I paid $10 extra and it's still not quite perfect. It's another one of those cases, same as the Akubra, where I'm reluctant to really get the guy to stretch it, because then I think I'm going to have a little too much of that. So I'm hoping that just wearing it will make it want to conform rather than screwing with it. But if it shrinks, then it's really going to be a headache hat. And still, maybe when it breaks in, I'll be able to press it and get that extra width out of the sides. The Bewt Barn guy didn't seem to quite understand what I was trying to explain to him about that. With the other hat, I forget if it was this one or the 5X Cody James. One of them, I don't know. We never quite got it where I wanted it. This one, again, the roundness of it, I kind of came to accept, because, again, I wanted it to look more like the Clint hat, but we did manage to stretch it enough to where, even though it's a size too small, it fits almost perfect. Even better than that one, which is, again, my size. So this one, it's not perfect. So far with Stetson hats, I'm actually batting 0 for fit, even though I now own, well, the straw one fit great, but the more expensive ones have all been too finicky. So yeah, that green one, like I said, you can go back and watch that video from as recently as 2 days ago or something. Episode 319. That hat, there was no larger options available, so I'm just stuck with it for a year. And if it shrinks in the closet, then I'll just have to try and sell it. I guess same with this one, because right now this one is fitting better than that one. Because again, I went up a size and got the size that's too big that fits. So that's where we are. And this, I guess they're just going to have to compete with each other for my autumn hat, depending if I want a more drover shape or a more traditional. Again, I don't know if this is a movie shape or an actual rodeo figure, or, you know, whoever was famous for wearing this shape. I know the Tom Mix one is not the exact same as this. It's taller. It's more sloped. The Tom Mix one looks, I know exactly what that one looks like. And the brim is way different. It's a flatter brim with a kind of sombrero end on the edge. So it's not the same as Tom Mix, but it's similar to Tom Mix. So if you think Tom Mix looks dorky or goofy or whatever, then this is the light version, I guess. But somebody probably wore this before Tom Mix, maybe, because again, his is very flared and intentional, I think. Whereas this looks more hybrid-y, I guess. I don't know, because again, this is not quite a pinch front, so maybe this came after and they just kind of decided the Tom Mix was too flamboyant. Not sure, not positive, but my guess is either or. Flip a coin, and I'm right half the time, right? So yeah, if we take out the doohickey and get to the point, this will be a much shorter video than many of them, but still getting kind of long here because I did talk about other hats and things. But as always, if you have any questions, you know, go ahead and put them in the comments. I'll try and be intelligent or intelligible or something when I answer in a timely manner-ish. And yeah, I enabled the buy me a coffee feature if you're interested in that. Like I said, in the other video, I don't know that I need $700 hats to last me a lifetime. I don't get to wear the hats in warm weather as much as I'd like. I'm noticing that this one is a little cockeyed. I'm seeing that this brim is not quite right. So I'm going to have to get him to adjust this side slightly, same as the other one. In fact, it was this one. This one's also cockeyed. Yeah. So I have two slightly asymmetrical hats that both need a tiny bit of work, although I don't think you'd notice it if you were just walking by me. I think it's because I'm on camera that I'm seeing that this is not as sharp as the other side. The rear, yeah. I don't want to steam it because, like I said, I turned all these other felt things. This one not as badly, but I turned them a little bit mushier than I kind of anticipated. So I don't really want that to be a thing, but yeah. Something to look for when you first get the hats is, you know, checking that everything's kind of straight. Sometimes we're crooked and we don't realize it, but in this case, you can really see it's crooked. But yeah, I did activate the buy me a coffee feature, which I was trying to talk about before I went off on a tangent. Or pizza. And of course, as always, boycott Tinder. It's a scam as far as I can tell. It's consumer fraud. I don't know enough about class action lawsuits to, enforce that or inform that. But I did a couple long videos now about what seems to be their pervasive toxic employee culture, and other people have told me flat out, in other videos and comments and things that, well, of course they don't want you to find love. Then they'll never get a repeat customer. Haha. But I think that it goes deeper than that. There's other issues there that if their service is so great, why aren't their employees happily married? For starters, I can't put it any more plainly than that. And don't seem to like men, and don't like men who wear cowboy hats or all men who wear cowboy hats have the same exact political beliefs or something. It's too much to unpack here at the end of the thing. But the people who wear cowboy hats, most of them or many of them bring you everything that you eat and wear, right? Almost, or something like that. So I still like traditional. I mean, I might go out and nobody else is dressed like this, and I don't dress, always this much. But and I was kind of like I said, I was kind of looking for a hat that I could wear with more normal clothes, without having to wear overtly. But I guess I already kind of have that because that's pretty much already this anyway. Now that I've shaped down the brim a bit, and then of course I got this one, more recently, which is even more of a towny hat than this one. So, like I said, I'll be signing off. I managed to add extra talk at the end, as always.